Not all threats storm into your life with violence. Some wear soft smiles. Some speak in whispers. Some offer comfort while planting quiet poison. The most dangerous people aren't those who openly hate you. They're the ones who wound you in the name of love. Who sabotage your growth while pretending to support it. Who chain you to their chaos through charm, guilt, or neediness. These people are not always evil. But they are deeply unaware. Unaware of the shadows that govern them. Unaware of the pain they inflict while calling it care. And that's what makes them so dangerous. They don't know they're doing it. Jung's warning, the hidden self behind the mask. Carl Jung, one of the fathers of modern psychology, believed every human being has a persona, the mask we show the world, and a shadow, the hidden, rejected parts of ourselves. The shadow isn't necessarily malicious. But when denied or repressed, it seeps out unconsciously. Through manipulation. Projection. Control. Emotional warfare dressed as connection. Jung taught that those who don't face their shadow become vessels for unconscious destruction. They may believe they're helping you, but what they're really doing is using you to escape themselves. Let's look at 10 shadow-driven personalities you must learn to recognize, not with paranoia, but with razor-sharp clarity. 1. The chronic victim, the weaponized wound. They always seem to be suffering, abandoned, betrayed, overlooked. You feel compassion, and that's the trap. They never take ownership of their lives. Every problem is someone else's fault. You become their therapist, their emotional sponge, their crisis manager. They don't want solutions. They want attention, sympathy, and emotional power. Set a boundary, and suddenly you're selfish or cold. They don't heal, they manipulate through helplessness. 2. The charming mirror, the personality that isn't real. They're magnetic. They seem like your soulmate, best friend, or ideal ally. But after months, you realize something eerie, you know nothing about them. They're not real, they're a reflection. They mirror your likes, your emotions, your values. But behind that mask? Nothing solid. Just a fear of being exposed. They disappear when you need authenticity. Or worse, turn your vulnerabilities against you. They don't betray with malice, they betray with emptiness. 3. The passive-aggressive enabler, the whisper that weakens. They speak with calm. With reason. With concern. But beneath the mask of maturity, they quietly erode your confidence. I just don't want you to get disappointed. Are you sure that's realistic? You've changed. They project their fears onto your ambition. Their doubts become your hesitation. They don't scream. They suggest. And by the time you realize what's happening, your self-belief has already rusted. 4. The secret competitor, the friend who wants to win. They support you, kind of. They applaud your success, just not too loudly. Underneath it all, they're keeping score. They're comparing. They're subtly competing. If you win, they find ways to remind you that they've done it too, or better. Their smiles hide resentment. Their praise has edges. They don't want to celebrate you. They want to outshine you. 5. The spiritual narcissist, the awakened superior. They quote Rumi, speak of energy, and radiate calm. But underneath the enlightened tone is unhealed ego masked as spirituality. They don't argue, they dismiss. They don't empathize, they diagnose your low vibration. They don't connect, they dominate the emotional hierarchy. You'll feel guilty for being human around them. You'll suppress your feelings just to avoid being labeled unevolved. They don't heal, they spiritually gaslight. 6. The empath who controls, the weaponized sensitivity. They feel everything, and that's their power move. They use emotional sensitivity not to connect, but to control. You'll constantly edit your words. Walk on eggshells. Suppress your truth to avoid hurting them. They use phrases like, "Your energy is too intense. I'm just really sensitive to people like you." In reality, they're emotionally fragile and want the world to revolve around their comfort. They aren't asking for connection. They're demanding emotional obedience. 7. The guilt-tripping martyr, the self-sacrificer who keeps score. They do everything for you. They show up. They help. They give. But there's a price tag attached to every act of kindness. Eventually, they make you feel indebted to their sacrifices. They say things like, "After everything I've done for you, I guess I just care more than you do." They don't serve from love. They serve to gain control, through guilt. Their love is a loan. And it always comes with interest. 8. The performative ally, the supporter who needs an audience. They look like your biggest cheerleader, publicly. They repost your work, quote your wisdom, clap the loudest online. But it's not about you. It's about them being seen as supportive. Behind closed doors, they're indifferent, or worse, resentful. They feed off visibility, not authenticity. If the spotlight shifts away from them, they disappear or turn cold. Their loyalty is performative, conditional, ego-driven. 9. The trauma bonder, the chaos addict. They connect through pain. They bond over dysfunction. They build closeness through shared suffering, not growth. At first, it feels deep, like a soul tie. But you realize they're addicted to emotional intensity, not intimacy. They recreate drama to feel alive. They sabotage peace because it feels boring. They don't want healing. They want someone to suffer with them. And if you start growing, they'll pull you back into the storm. 10. The identity hijacker, the one who becomes you. This one's subtle. They slowly absorb your identity. They adopt your interests, your language, even your values. They mimic your essence, and eventually try to replace you. Jung would call this a form of unconscious possession, an unformed self latching onto yours. They'll study you, become you, then compete with you. And if you pull away, they'll turn hostile, because without you, they lose their borrowed sense of self. The common thread, unintegrated shadow. Each of these personas shares one truth. They have not faced their shadow. They are governed by what they deny. And because they cannot own it, they project it onto you. That's why recognizing them is only half the battle. The deeper work is this. What inside you allows them to stay? What part of your own shadow is inviting them in? The way out: integrate your shadow, reclaim your power. Jung's answer was never paranoia. It was self-integration. Here's how to start. 1. Audit your circle. Who energizes you? Who exhausts you? Don't rationalize toxicity. Cut ties where necessary. 2. Let your shadow speak. Stop trying to be nice all the time. Let your anger set boundaries. Let your instincts defend your peace. Your shadow isn't evil, it's your protector. 3. Listen to your gut. That weird vibe? That subtle pressure? You weren't imagining it. You were sensing danger your mind hadn't yet processed. 4. Stop explaining. Boundaries don't require justification. If someone needs a PowerPoint to respect you, they were never going to. 5. Own your power. You don't owe anyone your light, especially those who only show up to dim it. Final word: become impossible to manipulate. Carl Jung didn't want you to fear others. He wanted you to know yourself so deeply that no one could ever use you against you. When you own your shadow, you stop being bait. You stop tolerating what drains you. You stop fearing rejection, because you no longer reject yourself. And when that happens, you become what no manipulator can endure. Unshakably self-aware. fiercely whole, emotionally sovereign. You become impossible to manipulate.